regular season begins. Game 4 of the preseason means a last chance to impress and perhaps a last opportunity to play the game you love. The Lions and Bills apply for jobs in the preseason finale here on the Detroit Lions Television Network. Hi, everyone. Alongside former 4-time Pro Bowler Chris Spielman, I'm Matt Shepard. Jennifer Hammond will join us shortly from the sidelines. Look, you've really never been in this position. You knew you were one of the best players on the field every single year. You had it made. But as a veteran, what do you tell guys who are vying for a job?
Well, you're playing for your professional lives right now. And if not, you're just not playing for the Detroit Lions, but you're playing for other teams around the NFL as they get filmed. So you tell yourself, look, it's not about whether we win or lose the game tonight. It's not about that. It's about me having my best individual performance that I've ever had.
All right, Lions starting offensive line won't play tonight, but it's been under a microscope for the most part all preseason. What have been your thoughts on them?
They're getting better. I thought the first game they weren't very good. The second game a little bit better. But last week I thought they were pretty consistent. There were some holes to run through for the running game, and I thought Taylor Decker, right there in your picture, really improved over the first 3 ball games. And he's going to be a solid player for a long time to come. He's too good of an athlete not to be.
Probably had his best game of the preseason against Baltimore. A lot of spots up for grabs, folks, especially that 4th and 5th wide receiver spot, Chris.
Well, to me, guys have an opportunity to make a play. You have to make it. Right here, Roberts does, who scored a touchdown against the Steelers. Another guy that's been interesting is Jace Billingsley out of Eastern Oregon. You see great run after catch moves right here to find the end zone. Has developed a little bit of rhythm at Rudolph. And a guy that played last year and had some production, T.J. Jones, I thought he played well last week. So very important for those 3 to go off tonight.
And then you got an undrafted rookie like Jay Lee out of Baylor who's still trying to make his mark.
Well, he's a young guy with potential. And I don't know if he's one of the best out of those 3. But I think you look at Jay as a potential practice squad player.
Here's what they were hoping for, that they've created some chemistry with Jake Rudock. Why? Well, because he's going to see the lion's share of the snaps tonight. No pun intended. But the rookie out of the University of Michigan is trying to solidify his spot on this roster as well. We've got the kickoff for you, the Bills and Lions, right after this. The 8th all-time preseason meeting between the Lions and Bills, the Diversified Members Credit Union, brings you the coin toss.
You can call a toss. Heads, his call is heads.
Terry McCauley flips it.
His tails. Detroit won the toss. You want
Detroit
the ball?
wins the toss, and they will receive
to
start tonight's preseason finale. Let's welcome in the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Jennifer Hammond. Is this a throwaway game, Jen, do you think, the 4th preseason game?
Absolutely not, and a lot of people on the outside really do view it that way. But according to Jim Caldwell, this one is really important, not only because it's how they round out their roster. This is where you add depth to a team along the defensive line, in the defensive backfield. You can also find some great guys for special teams. And let's not forget, this is also where a lot of guys' NFL dreams may begin and others may come to an end.
You're right about that. And Chris, that is an area where Detroit has lacked in the past, has it not? Depth. They can compete with a lot of teams when their first team unit is in there, but when injuries take place, they have a hard time finding the guys to fill those voids.
Well, you have to look for young guys, and with new management, new leadership within the Lions front office, who fits our profile, who fits the philosophy which we have here in Detroit. And Bob Quinn, after this game ends, his work really begins.
Dan Orlovsky looks like he will begin the game under center for Detroit. Dan Carpenter will kick it away to Jace Billingsley. Chris talked about him in our open. The undrafted rookie out of Eastern Oregon who has been dynamite, really, at times, especially in practice, and a guy who is tough as nails. I mean, you're talking about a kid who wrestled in high school, was a multi-state champion, and he's not afraid to go across the middle, not afraid to work his way on special teams. It takes a little bit of a screw loose to participate on special teams, doesn't it?
And courage to return punt kicks as those guys are running at you 1,000 miles per hour. He's really shown, Matt, a lot of run after catch ability, which is vital for that position that he's vying for, the slot position.
Just one kicker on this Buffalo squad now since the cuts were made and we're underway. Billingsley will get a chance to return it from the 3. He's got some shake to him. Feels his way past the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Here's Dan Orlovsky, who so far in this preseason has completed about 61% of his passes. Starting quarterback brought to you by the Ford Motor Company. Those 2 picks glaring, but he said, look, I've moved past that. I concentrate more on the passes that I have made than the 2 mistakes that I've made and people have been talking about.
Well, I think anytime you're the quarterback, you're under scrutiny. But to me, he's an excellent backup quarterback. If the opportunities comes, I think he can fill in nicely.
Quick throw to Jay Lee. Good stiff arm to get the first down and more, and then pushed out of bounds along the Lions sideline. Jay Lee with good size and good strength from that outside position.
And just a big target. Obviously at Baylor, he's used to that type of play, which they run a lot of quick screens. So to get him in his comfort level and to get a good look at him, what they'll do is they'll throw an easy pass to him so he can show what he can do.
Dwayne Washington, the 7th round choice out of Washington, to the left of Dan Orlovsky on a 1st and 10. Good pump fake. And incomplete. Tried to go across the middle to lead.
Yeah, I thought Dan had a little bit of room to run out there to keep those chains moving forward. Keeping his eyes downfield. And sometimes, if you could take a 3 or 4 yard gain to stay on schedule, that's what coaches like to refer to, stay on schedule, and stay ahead of the chains and always move forward.
Veteran Manny Lawson was putting the pressure on Dan Orlovsky. 2nd down. Washington the lone setback. First run of the night. Got the edge and more. Washington is away. Touchdown.
You know, we talk about tight ends to be able to block at the point. Watch Orson Charles when we get to the replay. Does a good job of creating a short corner. See him right there. Excellent job of creating a short corner, and this is something Washington has. He has the speed to go the distance, and that body of 236 pounds. We saw it in the preseason game against Pittsburgh when he takes 100+ back. Nobody catches him. Once he gets that edge, it's off to the races. Great job, Orson Charles. Beautiful. That's run blocking.
I think you talked about it earlier in the preseason. Maybe after week 2, you said this is the guy who's got to make this team. He continues to impress and put good tape up for his opportunity.
Well, that tape shouldn't go out of Bob Quinn's office. That tape should stay right there because he belongs in a Lions jersey.
Matt Prater for the extra point.
End of conversation on that one.
Don Muhlbach with a perfect snap and another look at what the rookie out of Washington has done. We talk about his speed, pretty good vision here, breaking tackles down the sideline.
Well, he's the 2nd best running back on this team. You don't need to use Theo Riddick in that position because Theo Riddick is so valuable as a 3rd down back. That guy is an inside-outside guy at 236 pounds. In the NFL today, you need 2 guys, right? You need 2. One to get about 70-30. Well, he's your 30% carry guy a game, in my opinion.
Scoring drive is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. It was quick, and it was long, and most of it was because Washington carried it 58 yards to pay dirt.
You know, Matt, I want to emphasize again, like there's a battle with tight end too because the Pettigrew comes back. You got Corliss coming, it's going to be there. Obviously, you got Ebron. Well, Orson Charles is a guy, we want a guy to block at the point. The way he was able to turn Bierman, the outside linebacker, inside, and Washington with the speed to get outside, that's a great block. That's what makes a football team when you're in a battle. That type of effort.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, there are things that you can do when you don't have the football in your hands that make a difference for your club. Sam Martin to kick it away. And Walter Powell back deep for Buffalo. He'll take a knee, and it'll be at the 25 for the Bills' first possession of the night.
You know, I might have made a mistake because it might have been Corliss. I think it was Corliss. I apologize, and I always admit when I'm wrong. Andrew Corliss, that's why he's here. that point of attack block. And Orson Charles is a good player too, but Corliss just made a statement of why Bob Quinn went out and got Corliss, even though he's going to be suspended for a couple games to start out.
Right. He and Orson Charles, both good blocking tight ends. E.J. Manuel comes in as the starting quarterback tonight, battling Cardale Jones for the number 2 spot. Manuel's had a really good preseason. They've been impressed with him in Buffalo. They will start on the ground. Detroit getting tested early. Anton Williams, Kerry Hyder in on the tackle. Williams and a flag on the play.
Defense number 52. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's a nice feel. We'll see where the penalty comes here, but first of all, it's a great fill by Williams. It's nice when you're off block to step up in that hole, and that's what you want from middle linebackers. You want to make tackles 2 yards or in front of 2 yards to the line of scrimmage. When you hear the whistle, I know you're jacked up. You got to let it go, and here's the wishbone formation.
To the up back, close to midfield. Glenn Gronkowski, the undrafted free agent out of Kansas State. Tonight's defensive starting lineups brought to you by Lee Steinberg, Raphael Bush, who has started a couple of games in the preseason so far, but also watched Tavon Wilson start at one of those safety spots opposite Glover Quinn. He's not fighting for a roster spot, we don't think. We believe he's starting for a starting spot on this club. 2nd down and 3. Counter. And Heron gets tripped up by Kyle Van Orn.
Well, I haven't seen this offense since I watched Riverdale High about 10 years ago. And this just goes to show you that Coach Ryan wants to get out of here. And
it will keep the clock moving, won't it?
Well, it will, but you know what it hurts? It hurts the Lions' defensive backs. Because you want to be able to show that you can cover people. And you're sitting here lining up in a BS wishbone that you're not going to run during the season. The guys that are getting hurt are the Lions.
Good point. Gronkowski up the gut. They drilled him. I got to give the Lions a little bit of credit here. It's not like you're practicing against this, right? Not that you're game planning for game 4 in the preseason anyway, but to stop this team against a defense that, or an offense, I should say, that you haven't seen before, they've done a nice job so far.
Yeah, and he's going to go for it on 4th down, or at least try to get to the offside. But all it is everybody line up, the line's going to fire off, you're going to fire off, and it's like the old 9-on-7 inside drill, and you find out who's tougher. This is now a good matchup for the defensive tackles for the Lions where they have battles.
Manuel under center. Heron tries the left side, wiggles his way, drive down, and Detroit will take over with a short football field. Already up 7-0. Buffalo tricking it up a little bit, not Detroit. They just said, let's put our hard hat on and let the rookie go to work from 58 yards away. Chris Spielman, Jennifer Hammond. I'm Matt Shepard. Welcome to Forward Field. Dan Orlovsky, who played in 3 games a year ago, trying to get some reps here just in case. Look, nobody wants to lose their starting quarterback. I don't care what team it is out there. All you got to do is ask how important those backup snaps are to people in Minnesota. Zimmer right now, really concerning for good reason. Dwayne Washington has got the touchdown run drilled at midfield. A good pop there right at the middle. Jarrell Worthy, part of it. Big fill out of Michigan State and a former 2nd-round pick of Green Bay.
It's a nice fill, too, by Lattimore, number 96, coming in. And I love the fact that his head was up, man. Protected from the crown. Did not use the top of the helmet. Hit with his eyes. When you do that, your head will always stay up and you'll be safe and you'll make a sure tackle because you see your target.
Jamari Lattimore out of Middle Tennessee State. If you can play, they'll find you. Orlovsky across the middle and it's caught. Billingsley thrown down at the 45-yard line of Buffalo. Sterling Moore in on the tackle.
Now, one of the things that's graded in this situation is not only your physical play, but your mental play. So part of the evaluation is, do you line up right? Do you get the checks at the line of scrimmage? Do you recognize the coverage? Do you run the right route off the coverage? So everything is being factored in. I'm glad that the Bills' defensive backs are getting a good look. Not only for the Bills, but for the other teams they may be looking at.
Worthy jumped.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 94. 5-yard penalty, third down.
That doesn't help your case.
Well, what it helps now is that the Lions, because they can anticipate in a 3rd and 4 that the Bills will have to play some type of man-to-man because it's tough playing zone. It is short of the distance for a first down. So now you put your man-to-man pass routes in and see if you can win your one-on-one battles. You can see the corners lining up tight. They're playing man.
Lee to the right, Roberts to the left with Billingsley in the slot for Orlovsky on 3rd and short. Dances away from pressure. Throws on the run, and it is incomplete. Intended for Dwayne Washington.
Well, that's a great A for the Bills defense. Win that short yardage 3rd down defense, 3rd and 4 minus. They were able to come with pressure, get pressure off of blitz, and they lock down on man-to-man. First of all, you're going to see the pressure come right here on a nice little stunt right up the middle. No slide, but no target to throw to either. Good job of locking down by the Bills.
So 4th down for the Lions. They've gone for it once in the preseason and converted. Blitz comes. They pick it up. First down.
Seemed like a boring play. It's not. It's a smart play by Billingsley. Understanding the sticks, having the safety from 12 yards off, trying to cover you man-to-man. That's a mental error by the Bills. The safety's too far off in this short down and distance. It allows Billingsley to set up past the sticks and even have room to work back to the football if he needs to.
So that's a read by the receiver
Absolutely.
and quarterback?
Absolutely.
So on the same page, one of those things you were just talking about. Are you prepared mentally in a game like this?
And it's a mental error, in my opinion, on the safety. Understand down and distance and cover the guy. Don't give him a free shot.
Washington 7 yards deep. Shifting his way inside the 30 of Buffalo. Good run by Dwayne Washington, who's really impressed.
Just the stop-start. You see the little stop-start? Watch the stop-start right here. First of all, there's one cut coming right there is a good vision. Now watch the second one. Right there is second vision, which allows him to get 4 extra yards. That stuff is natural. That's a natural runner. That's not a guy that's just working and plowing through people. His head and his eyes are always looking.
Good block by Joe Dahl, who's playing left tackle tonight.
Good job, Joe Dahl.
You hear that from Ron Prince quite a bit in practice. It's paying off for him. 2nd down play. 4th carry of the night for Dwayne Washington. More positive yardage as he rolls forward, pushes the pile a little bit, then driven back. But he took on 3 Bills at the same time, led by Lattimore.
Well, this is a better job by Corey Bierman. Don't be tardy, star, on Bravo. Holding 2 blockers so the corner could come up. Seamster to force the ball back inside. But again, when you get that push on that short corner, you're doing pretty well. Corliss again, showing why he's part of the Lions roster.
Anchoring down the left side next to Joe Dahl on a 3rd down and 2. Orlovsky to throw. Incomplete. Intended for Andre Roberts.
That's a catch you have to make. And Andre's pleading his case right there that he seems to have grabbed the shoulder. He might have a point. No, he didn't hold him, but that ball goes through your hands. As an NFL wide receiver, you get 2 hands on the ball. That's a catch. That should go down as a drop.
Prater from 45 yards away. 6 for 7 on the preseason. He made a 60-yarder, folks, in Baltimore last week. Make it 7 for 8. 2 possessions, 2 scores, including Matt Prater's latest field goal. Yep. Lions up early. Lions season tickets are still available, starting at just $375. Call now to learn how you can earn $50 in stadium credit to purchase season tickets during tonight's broadcast. Call 313-262-2222 and speak to a representative standing by now. That's 313-262-2222. Walter Powell back deep to receive the 2nd kickoff of the night from Sam Martin. And for the 2nd time Powell takes the knee. Buffalo gets their second possession in an early hole on the Lions television network. 8-yard touchdown run by Dwayne Washington and a 45-yard field goal from Matt Prater. The scoring drive presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Lions couldn't really take full advantage of the short field, but in just under 4 minutes, they get their second score of the night. Now the defense will try and stop E.J. Manuel, former first-round pick of the Buffalo Bills, 16th overall. In his 4th year out of Florida State. A little bit more traditional offense here. Still on the ground. Good leg drive up to the 29-yard line. Anthony Zettel on display here tonight. Well, should get a lot of snaps, Chris. Had a good game last week against Baltimore.
A guy that plays with great effort and a good role model in Ziggy Ansah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got that kind of motor. Had it at Penn State and he brought it to him with the NFL.
Jim Caldwell says he's tough, he's smart, he gives you everything he's got. Manuel, his first pass of the night, up top, a home run ball that goes incomplete. Just out of the reach of Walter Powell. Good coverage by Darren Walls downfield.
Patience is part of playing corner. And understanding when that hand of the receiver goes up for the football, you do not panic and start grabbing cloth. You just trust your technique. And Walls did a great job of not interfering and keeping his hands off playing the football.
Almost seems like an oxymoron to say patience and corner because it's such a fast position.
It is, but when you just got to trust what's happening. If you're in position, know what you have to do to revert back to make a play in a football.
3rd and 6. Blitz comes. Caught in a first down just shy of the 40-yard line. Desmond Lewis, a 7th-round pick out of Central Arkansas.
Not necessarily Wall's fault, because when you look at it, the blitz was picked up by the Bills. See it coming late. Everybody was sliding there for the Bills. It's an easy pitch and catch. You're not asking Walls to cover all day.
Back to the wishbone for Buffalo. Gronkowski. Dragged down by Antoine Williams, who, as we mentioned last week, his real name is Leander. His father and his brother named Leander. He goes by Antoine Williams. He's a really good guy, too. I mean, I've enjoyed talking to him throughout camp. With a smile on his face, wearing the Detroit baseball cap, proud to be a Lion, and just soaking up the knowledge of guys like Tahir Whitehead and DeAndre Levy.
Right there's a shot.
Big hit right there.
Choke that up.
Williams and Van Noy tag teaming.
He's just got a knack of finding the open gap, and like a running back, as a linebacker, you have to use your vision. Now he's going to use his vision here, avoid blockers, then watch a burst. See the burst to the football? Right there, it's beautiful. That's a well-played hit and job by Antoine Williams. That's how you play middle linebacker. He's having a game so far.
You should know, 3rd down and 7. 1 for 2 on 3rd downs for the visitors. Good pocket. Now it collapses. Kerry Hyder's got him.
Kerry Hyder coming off the end, comes inside. Great rip move. You just throw a vicious uppercut, then the burst to be able to finish. Watch the uppercut right there. Now the burst to finish to make the play. Excellent job by Kerry Hyder.
7th sack of the preseason for the Lions defense. His first and a loss of 9. Billingsley stands with his heels at the 15. Short kick. Fair catch. Signal for Billingsley run into. That might have hit a Lion. And if so, the Bills will get it.
saying right there, Chase Billingsley has to say, use your voice. You got to
First
scream
touching by
poison,
the
get out of the way.
kicking team. Ball be placed at the spot of first touching of the 31-yard line. First down, Detroit. Timeout.
First touched by Buffalo. Detroit will take over. First and 10. They lead at 10-0. And a new quarterback could be coming in. Because they've outgained Buffalo 87-15 early on. Dan Orlovsky will stay in at quarterback for at least another series. Orlovsky 3 for 6 for 23 yards. Detroit up 10-0. Comeback route incomplete. Intended receiver Jay Lee.
One pass, good right foot. If I would have dropped this, I could have gone.
Washington alone setback. This is Andre Roberts in motion. Give to the rookie. Jamari Lattimore making his presence felt. He's had a good game already for Buffalo.
Well, that's twice, Matt, that he's run through there unblocked and not checked. So you have to be able to come off a double team, and two guys are responsible for two guys. And what happens is you start out on a double team on a defensive lineman, and when that linebacker flashes right in your face, one of you, depending on the position where you're on that offensive lineman, have to come off and get the chip on the linebacker.
Couldn't do it against Lattimore, who's played 64 career games in the NFL. Last year spent some time with the Jets. Quick bubble screen. Jay Lee's got it. Slips a tackle and gets the first down. Good run by the rookie after the catch.
Again, that's what he's comfortable with. I mean, he runs that at Baylor, and you run that quick little screen. I think he got so excited because he had some open field. Sometimes your feet get ahead of your mind. It was a heck of a tackle by the 48-yard line. But right here, watch him just get a little bit excited in his feet got him. And that's just being a young guy. But Jay Lee, they want to see what he can do, so you design plays to get the ball into his hands in space.
Two-year starter at Baylor. 14th on their all-time receiving list. First and 10 for Detroit. Washington, a cutback close to the 50-yard line. May have been a short run, but it was a good run. Let's go downstairs. There's Jennifer Hanna. Jeff?
Well, Chris and Shep, as you know, it's going to be Saturday at 4 p.m. that the Lions need to get down to the 53-man roster. But this roster from the beginning has really been a work in progress. Since he was hired in January, Bob Quinn has pulled the trigger on 69 different transactions. There have been 72 overall in 2016. And that just shows you that this team keeps on working. They want to get as much depth as possible, and they're going to keep on making any moves they have to until this roster is set.
Quick slant, and Lee close to a first down. Lee, one of those moves, as Jennifer was referring to, and he's trying to find the best players available, and Brandon Thomas is one of those guys that Jen was just referring to. Third year out of Clemson, all ACC two-timer there, and was part of San Francisco, traded earlier this week to Detroit for Jeremy Curley.
Well, Jeremy Curley showed out in the Pittsburgh game and obviously has had some success in the league. We'll just take a look at him right there. Let's eyeball him and see what he does on this particular play.
He pulls. Washington squeezing through a little bit of a hole. He's shy of the first down. Randall Johnson, third-year pro out of Florida Atlantic, made the tackle.
That was tough on Brandon Thomas because Buffalo had a safety blitz on. So you're having a safety hit you before you can turn that corner and hit you 1 yard in the backfield. But not a bad job. You see Colt Anderson, number 33, coming in and meeting the puller inside, doing his job to turn that ball back inside.
Second time Lions go for it on fourth down tonight. Offset on. Play action, pressure comes, the throw, and it'll be around the knees and incomplete. Buffalo went for it earlier in the game, and Detroit took advantage. Can the Bills do the same? Stick around to find out. Left in this opening quarter, Detroit's defense now hoping to step up to the challenge, including A'Shawn Robinson, Detroit's second-round pick, who has been, according to the coaching staff, Terrell Austin, trending in the right direction. Now, he's not part of this position battle, Chris, but these four gentlemen are.
And you watch them, and they all seem like the same guy. Yeah, one of the guys makes the tackle, and I can't tell the difference, but the guys that have stood out to me so far, Kyrie Thornton, I think, has been outstanding this preseason, and also Karan Reed. Both of them have been very active.
Thornton, a guy that might be able to move inside and maybe come off the edge a little bit, too. Manuel on a play action. Pressure is there, and he had to unload early. Good pressure by Thornton. And Devin Taylor.
I'm surprised to see Devin Taylor in there.
Yeah.
But his body size is just enormous. And again, he should have a big year because of the presence of Ziggy Ansah.
Had a good year last year. Set up a screen incomplete, intended for James Wilder. A'Shawn Robinson is a big human being, isn't he, Chris?
Yeah, I think he struggled a little bit. I think he struggled with his wind a little bit because of the speed of the game.
Yeah.
But he's gotten a little bit better each ball game, and he's going to be good when it's all said and done. He just needs to be in condition.
He can push the pocket, that's for sure.
Just strong.
Taylor's at the right defensive end spot. And a timeout for the Lions.
First charge timeout, Detroit. 30-second timeout.
I had a really good jump off that edge.
Well, and here's why I think that he can have a big year. You have to account for Ziggy Ansah on one side. So all your help is going to be on a chip block, or they're going to slide to Ziggy, or whatever the case may be. You have the good push up the middle that we're expecting from Lodinana. So that's going to leave him in a lot of one-on-one battles. And he's got the speed and athleticism and burst, but the wingspan at 6'7", he can finish.
Remember, he was kind of unheralded. Fourth-round pick, 2013, because Jadeveon Clowney was a consensus first-team All-American and the first overall pick that year, and yet it's Taylor who's had the better career, primarily because Clowney's been hurt, but also because Taylor's done a nice job. He puts pressure on again, and that screen goes nowhere. Detroit sniffed it out right away.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of times on screen passes, they let the defensive end go, right? But he can cover so much ground, and he has a great get-off. The back doesn't chip him enough and allows the early throw by E.J. Manuel. But right there, just that little quick rip and that little dip step, Boom Herron missed him altogether.
Billingsley inside his own 10. Good snap by Don Muehlbach. Fastball, or I should say by the Buffalo long snapper. Muehlbach sending fastballs in Detroit's direction. There's a flag on the play. Garrison Sanborn with a beautiful snap for Buffalo, a lot like Don Muehlbach.
During the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 30. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
What was it that burned him last week, Chris? It was the penalties.
Well, and that's the thing that, needs to be addressed. And you'll get to say, well, guys are aggressive in the last preseason game, and so they're going to make some penalties. I get that, but the test comes next week at Indy. We got to make sure that those aren't there, because penalties will kill a team, especially a team that is struggling to get above 500, which they were 7-9 last year.
James Wilder, the injured Bill, originally undrafted free agent by Cincinnati in 2014. Played his college ball at Florida State.
He's a good player. He obviously, his dad, James Wilder, was here, former Detroit Lion.
And a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Well, he was great for Tampa.
Yeah, he really was.
I was a rookie, and I caught James in his prime. It's like tackling a school bus. Brothers Ryan.
Head coach Rex.
That's got to be exciting for them, though, to work together.
Brother Rob, yeah, I would guess so. They got to have a lot of fun. Although I did read an article earlier in the week that Rex has put on a little bit of weight since his brother joined the staff. But overall, he looks pretty good compared to where he was a long time ago.
But they, again, I mean, you know, you look at him, and Rex gets a. Sometimes people love him or don't hate him. There's at least nobody's lukewarm about him.
Yeah.
I think he's good. If you have smart guys, and you want athletes, and you like blitzes, and you want to play man-to-man, Rex Ryan can coach defense. So
I
can
like
Rob. Both of them can.
Yeah, I agree. I like Rex Ryan. 8-8 a year ago. Jake Rudak's first snap of the night. Zach Zenner. Stutter steps his way through the hole. Gets some positive yardage. Could be the final play of the quarter. Zenner battling for some PT against Dwayne Washington.
Well, to me, I mean, if we're judging just off preseason games, Washington's your second best running back. I mean, just a couple of runs that we saw tonight.
Sure.
He's a difference maker, and he can break it.
Zenner was that guy last year. Washington appears to be that guy this year. 1 quarter's in the books. Lions with a touchdown run from their 7th-round choice out of Washington, and another Matt Prater field goal, plus a ton of pressure on E.J. Manuel and the Bills. The second quarter is upcoming on the Lions Television Network. This season, due much in part to acquiring a former Super Bowl champion, Anquan Bolden, and he's with Jennifer Hanna. Jeff?
And this is certainly a guy who has never played a down of football in the 4th preseason game in his career. Anquan Bolden, you've been here now for training camp, through the offseason and OTAs. What have you learned about this offense and how prolific it can be with Matt Stafford and all the other weapons you guys have?
Well, I know we have a chance to be very explosive this year. We have a lot of weapons outside as well as in the backfield, and you know Matt does a great job of getting us in and out of the right place. So I'm looking forward to it.
Your 14th season in the NFL. Do you learn different things each year in training camp?
Most definitely. For me, I just try to go back to basics once training camp starts, and you know, joining a new team is always easy to go back to basics because it's like you're a rookie all over again. You have to learn a new offense, learn new language, develop that chemistry with the quarterback. So for me, it's all new.
And certainly you did have some familiarity with Jim Caldwell. He was your offensive coordinator in Baltimore when you guys won the Super Bowl in 2012. How much did that weigh into your decision to want to play here?
For me, it weighed a lot into my decision. I'm very comfortable with Coach Caldwell, the way that he runs things, the way that he communicates. I'm a big fan of that. So that played a lot into my decision.
35 years young. How do you keep fresh? How do you keep strong? Caldwell always raves about your ability to not only catch the ball, but to really move guys.
For me, it's taking care of your body. We make a living by doing exactly that, by performing well with our body. So the most important thing is to take care of your body, which allows you to come out and perform at a high level.
You have kind of an interesting routine, too, don't you? Boxing, MMA?
Yeah, yeah. In the off-season, I like to mix it up a little bit. But for me, it helps when it comes to football, especially mentality-wise. I think it's one of those things that cross over.
Final most important question. Have you had a Coney yet in Detroit?
Not yet. I'm looking forward to it. I've been trying to stick to my diet during camp, but we'll have a couple free days, and I'll have a chance to get one.
Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, Sarah, the new nutritionist for the team, Matt. I'm not sure how she'd feel about an in-season Coney dog for Anquan.
She would not like that question, Jen, but I loved it, man. I'll eat one. I'll eat his. I'm okay with that. Anquan Bolden, by the way, more catches than any other active player in the NFL other than Larry Fitzgerald and Jason Witten. He's going to add a lot to this team's offense. Right now, they lead at 10-0. Bills get the football when we return to Ford Field. Playing tonight, but his reliability and his toughness should pay dividends for this Lions offense this year, Chris Spielman.
Look at the company that he's in. I mean, you can make an argument easily for all those guys as future Hall of Famers. Probably will be. And the thing I love about Anquan is his willingness to go over the middle and the strong hands. Is Zettel beats him with speed.
Second sack of the preseason for the rookie out of Penn State.
I mean, this is a great pickup. And because you can't teach this. And first of all, the get off. You're just a little quick set inside, but then you have a second gear. Much like a running back, if you have a second gear as an outside pass rusher, you can accumulate a lot of sacks. He's a good football player, an underrated player in college, if you ask me.
Yeah, I thought so too. Remember, he stayed with James Franklin when he didn't have to. Oh, look at Karan Reed just swallow him up. Defensive line is getting off the ball, aren't they?
Well, we talk about it, you know, there's competition for jobs and money and paychecks and free food at training table. So you're seeing guys make plays.
That last part's really important, isn't it?
He's a good player. I don't know if he's going to win that battle, but he'll be on a roster because he's shown out to me so far in preseason. He's undersized at 298. He's big enough.
Former 5th-round pick out of Princeton. 6th tackle of the preseason for Karan Reed. Puts Buffalo in a deep hole. They got to go 18 yards, and they're not going to get there. Another set. 3 huge plays by Detroit's defensive line. The second one by Kerry Hyder tonight.
Well, look, to me, the Lions are playing with a sense of urgency. Right here's Hyder. And again, he just beats him quick on the inside move, but never quits on it. Comes around the edge. Excuse me, that was Copeland. Hyder was coming from the other side.
Well, they were both in on it, 61 and 51, both in on it.
But those are guys that are playing, man.
Yeah.
And they're playing at a different level with a sense of urgency where the Bills are not.
They know what's at stake. Copeland last week playing in his hometown against Baltimore, who cut him in 2013. He had some incentive. Billingsley off the spiral kick, watches it go out of bounds, and Detroit will take over at their own 35-yard line, although there is a flag on the play. 11:40 remaining in the opening half. Detroit pitching an early shutout. Lions preseason football is brought to you by Jets Pizza. Life is short. Eat better pizza. Let's get Jets. By Tim Hortons. And by Comerica Bank. All the scoring done in the first. Crenshaw Davis, a very unique return to the Lions. Chris Spielman released earlier in the week and then signed this morning, but he already knows the playbook. Shouldn't be much of an adjustment.
Yeah, and it's another opportunity for him. We saw in the first quarter, Jay Lee was featured. Now let's see if Bob Cooter decides to feature Davis.
Big target out of North Carolina. Jake Rudock under center, his second series of the night. Zach Zenner, the tailback, and he gets the call, and he's going backwards. Well, we had talked about Brandon Thomas earlier. He could not control the former Spartan Jarrell Worthy.
Well, Jarrell just beats him off the snap, but Jarrell's on an angle, and he's able just to beat him with speed, and he's lined up on his shoulder. In fairness to Thomas, he needs to get a little help, because if he's on your edge and you're getting off on a snap, there's no way you can ask a guard to block a guy on your outside shoulder, one-on-one. It's not going to happen.
Worthy, part of Buffalo's practice squad a year ago, played the last couple of games. Second down 15 after the loss.
Really good college player, man.
Sure was. Rudock scrambling, throwing, and it's incomplete. Good defensive play. Intended there for Andrew Corliss. Lattimore.
Again. Making plays.
Sure is.
I thought Jake should have probably tucked that go. Again, when you see tight coverage, understanding that he's man, he's got to go with his man in coverage. Then you tuck and run, then slide to protect yourself. It's all about staying on that schedule. Give yourself a 3rd and 10 instead of a 3rd and 15.
Some people thought he ran too much or too quickly in college, at least last year at Michigan. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I'm a big believer in that, especially in man coverage. Take off and go.
They have to throw for the first down. Side steps across the middle. Coming back, making the grab at the 39-yard line is Jay Lee.
Well, this is growth by Jay Lee by coming back for the football. This is twice the first time he's been successful on working back to the quarterback, especially on a low-thrown ball. Jay Lee growing up, being featured, taking advantage of it.
I've liked him in training camp. I know you've watched him. You and I have kind of compared notes on him. Not sure that it's a guarantee by any stretch, but we think he does add a dimension to this offense that can be useful for sure. 3rd, 4th down try of the night for Detroit.
Delay game, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, that's on Jake. You got to recognize where the clock is. If you're going for it on 4th and 1 and you're not trying to hard count, you have to get up there, and if you will need to change the snap count at the line of scrimmage, you can by a code word to say we got to go, go, go. Snap the ball.
So Sam Martin will punt it away. Greg Salas stands inside his own 15. People remember Greg Salas from Lions camp a year ago, where he was pretty darn good. Fair catch signal for, and hold in at the 30-yard line. Lions lead at 10-0. Sure, they got the big touchdown run and field goal, but this defense has really stepped forward and had a nice game so far tonight. Tickets still available starting at just $375. Call now to learn how you can earn $50 in stadium credit when you purchase season tickets during tonight's broadcast. Call 313-262-2222 and speak with a representative tonight. That's 313-262-2222. Second quarterback of the night for Buffalo, the third on the depth chart, Cardale Jones, the rookie out of Ohio State. And a draw that doesn't fool anybody. Look at how good this D-line has been, not just on that play, but all night long, Chris.
Well, it's all about not making a sack, but forcing a quick throw. Right here, they're trying screens, delays. Hyder being able to finish. Hyder and Zettel coming off the ends. Copeland, Hyder. Again, you see guys playing for the right to wear an NFL uniform this fall.
Big reason why Buffalo, before that play, total net yards -1. You see it right there. 2nd and 10. Jones to throw. Pressure comes. He steps forward, slings it out there, and minimal gain. You saw Cardale Jones at Ohio State, a 4th-round pick, by the way. And we all know his story, at least you should. 23 games played at Ohio State in 3 years. 11-0 as a starter, and, of course, the magical 2014 run where he won a Big Ten championship, a Sugar Bowl, and a national title game.
I thought it was a great pickup by the Bills to get him in the 4th round. He's raw, but he has talent. And don't let the big frame fool you. The big fella can get down the field and run and move the sticks with his feet.
That's a tight end frame, by the way. Pressure comes, and he can run with it. We know that. And tripped up at about the 42-yard line. John Badamosi. No, check that. Isaiah Johnson for the tackle.
Well, this is, first of all, good patience by Jones. Stepping up into the pocket. Now he makes that decision understanding that there's nobody going to be open, but he trusts his athletic ability to make the play to keep the sticks moving. Hyder running. Love that.
Draw. Big hole. To the 40-yard line of Detroit. Boom, Heron.
From one Buckeye to another.
Yep.
Starts up front right here. It's just a lead draw. You see the middle linebacker, number 49, Green? He's got to get over. You have two guys in one gap. You have the defensive tackle on that side, and Green got caught on the same side, which created that void. And Boom Heron just had a straight-ahead run.
Longest run and play of the night for Buffalo there. Down to the 39 on that carry. Heron again.
Zettel with a good play.
A lot of Big Ten names out there, huh?
Just watching Zettel on that play, you know, he's 271 pounds, so he's not a designated pass rusher. He made a play inside right there, fending off a defensive tackle and making a tackle for a 2-yard gain. That's because he's strong. He plays bigger than his weight.
Yeah, he played inside and outside at Penn State. Not much room to run there. Tristan, a nice job overall at the defensive tackle spot. Stephen Charles makes the tackle there. Charles, a free agent coming over, and he's found himself in a bit of a battle for one of those DT spots.
It's a big battle, and they're all playing well.
Yeah. 3rd and 8. Bills 2 for 6 on 3rd downs. Jones wants to throw for it. He'll shovel it ahead. It'll go incomplete to Herring. You see how big Jones is when he's up against some of those offensive linemen. He towers over him.
Zettel coming again with pressure, forcing Jones to step up into the pocket. We're just not on the same page right there with the little shovel pass, but great size. Carefree spirit. He's a good kid. It's just raw, but has a boatload of talent.
Colton Schmidt will punt it away. Billingsley inside his 10. Fair catch at the 6. Long field for Jake Rudock and company. At least they're up 10-zip on the Lions television network. Quarter for the Lions, 10-zip. Their defense been stellar most of, if not all, the night. Limiting Buffalo to minimal yards, and now the offense in the shadows of their own end zone. Jake Rudock, Zach Zenner combining on the offensive backfield for Detroit on a 1st and 10. Zenner the carry. Dragged down from behind. It's interesting, we've talked about the defensive line and the battles going on there. There are some battles for backup spots along that offensive line as well, and Cornelius Lucas is right in the thick of it. I remember when the Lions passed on him in the 7th round, he told me he turned his TV off. He was so disappointed, but the Lions called right away. Took a big signing bonus as an undrafted free agent. He has 10-inch hands, Chris. 36 and 3/4-inch length.
6'9".
Rudock on a slant route, caught! Lee breaks the tackle.
Jim, this is an excellent job, first of all, of Jay Lee setting him up outside, able to beat inside, then again the burst to get the extra yardage. Now, watch Jake Rudock. White Ray recognizes where to throw the football. No hesitation. No looking around, understanding that weakness of the defense and trusting Jay Lee to get open for the perfect, easy pitch and catch.
You're not going to score on every single drive, but part of your responsibility is to get out of that deep part of your end zone to give your special teams an opportunity. Now it's 1st down for Detroit with Zenner shouldering his way to the 39.
See, I love Zach Zenner like everybody else. And I think he's a valuable, has a role in this football team. But he's not Dwayne Washington. Dwayne Washington has a little bit extra. In my honest opinion, Dwayne Washington just gives you that little bit of juice. Now, he's a good, valuable backup, but if you want to have a guy to split carries or share some of the load with Abdullah, I think Dwayne Washington's your guy.
2nd and 7. Rudock on a play action. Getting deep on that roll, and they'll just throw it away. Well, Washington has made his mark. We saw him on special teams against Pittsburgh in the opening weekend. And then look at this carry tonight.
Well, this is the difference right here. I mean, he has the ability to go the distance every time. And that little run right there was so impressive because it's a double cut. But again, getting around that edge and having the toughness to hit inside. Right there's one cut. And again, always falling forward with that nice burst through the hole, and you love his size at 6'1", 235.
Over 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns. Average 6 yards per carry at Washington. That's production.
That's Bob Flynn finding him in the 7th round.
Rudock steps up, throws, and it's caught by Billingsley at the 45. It's going to be short of the 1st down, though. It's a good comeback route, both by Rudock to sneak his way up. You don't always have to run. Sometimes you just got to find that seam, right? Move up in the pocket to buy yourself some time.
It's pocket presence, and you have to be able to deliver strikes with your feet in chaos. And right there was perfectly placed ball away from the defender.
He's got good hands, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's a good player, and he's a slot guy. I mean, he's your perfect slot receiver. This is going to be a chance to see if Zenner can get a tough yardage unless they run some kind of play action bootleg off of it.
Yeah, they moved. 2nd time they were going to go for it on 4th down where Detroit committed a penalty.
Yeah, and they were going deep to Feeney. That's why he jumped, because he was on the takeoff route. So he wanted to get out of his
penalty,
stance.
fourth down.
We ran that play all the way through. Feeney was down to about the
Correction, number 66.
41-yard line before that whistle blew, because that was all a play for him designed to make him the star. And he just got an early jump. That's why he jumped. Ball was coming his way, Matt.
Salas inside the 15. Fair catch at the 16 for Buffalo. 2:53 left to go in this opening half. Jennifer Hammond.
You know, guys, Amir Abdullah, you talk about Dwayne Washington and his ability to run and put a shoulder down and run between the tackles. Earlier this week, some reporters were talking to Abdullah about his desire to be utilized a little bit more inside the 20. He said, you know what? I like running in the red zone. I feel like I'm not a defined guy. I can run between the tackles. Bottom line is, don't sleep on him. He might not be a bad fantasy pick.
Ooh, a little fantasy football for you, Jennifer Hammond. I hope you going to win your league again this year like you did last.
I don't win very often at fantasy football, Mr. Shepard.
But right there, I agree with you. I mean, I watched him play a lot in college.
Yeah.
I agree with him that he's a complete back. He's an inside the tackle type of back. He can make people miss. And the one area of improvement, and he put the ball on the deck 5 times last season. You can't put the ball on the deck 5 times. I don't even know how many carries he had last year. Amir had 143 carries, so that's 1 every 30 times. You can't put the ball on the deck 1 every 30 times.
Why do people think that he can't run between the tackles?
I don't know.
Big play dropped right there. Don Carey stripped it loose. The intended receiver, Kane Coulter, former quarterback at Northwestern.
Well, he doesn't secure the football, but Don Carey never quitting on the play, never looking back for the football and going right for the arms to strip it out. Beautiful play by Carey. Outstanding. Special teams captain tonight.
Second in the NFL last year in special teams tackles with 16. Johnson Batamosi, who plays for the Lions now, 17. Led the NFL last year. Short down situation, didn't get it. Karan Reed and Anthony Zettel with good penetration up front for Detroit. 2-minute warning. Will Buffalo punt? They've gone for it a lot. Looks like the special teams are huddling up. We'll be back. Job by the Lions defense, especially Karan Reed, who continues to impress in this preseason as he vies for one of those defensive tackle rotation positions. Jace Billingsley trying to impress as well. He's steady-handed, we know that, and he can return kicks.
You know, Bob Quinn would ask my advice, and I know he won't. And I haven't seen practices, but if you're talking about that 4th defensive tackle spot, I think he's the 3rd best right now.
Karan Reed. Line drive and returnable. Yeah, you're going to run up and grab it at the 34. Splits a pair of defenders and driven down at the 43-yard line. Well, Chris, 149, a chance for Jake Rudock maybe to show his 2-minute drill skills.
Yes, this is a great opportunity for Jake and that whole offense and the young wide receivers. You see Davis, number 1, was in your picture. Billingsley stays out there. Jay Lee's out there. So all these guys now have an opportunity to see how they operate under the 2-minute pressure. This is what the coaches now will evaluate.
And Rudock has 2 timeouts at his disposal. Blitz. Incomplete, intended for Lee. Jim Bob Cooter likes this type of situation where, you know, it's the hurry up that they try to, you know, that they've installed and been a little bit more comfortable with as camp has evolved a little bit.
Well, and they should be comfortable with it. But not only is this a rehearsal for the players, it's also a great rehearsal for the coaches under game time situation. Believe me, they're all calm during practice, but I tell you, I've been on those headsets. It gets loud.
Sean Davis couldn't hold on to that one. flag on the play.
It gets a little loud during the game, and you have to maintain your composure. And Jim Bob seems like he's
Pass
won.
interference, defense number 38. Automatic first down.
Not to lose his composure. Good throw again by Jake.
Jonathan Williams. On the penalty, 1st and 10. Zenner. Anyway, to about the 38.
That's what he brings. So you have basically 3 different types of backs. Right? You got Abdullah, who's your number 1 guy,
right?
Inside, outside guy. You have Washington, who again, is, to me, the number 2 guy, inside, outside guy. Then you got the tough guy in Zenner.
Davis on a slant to the 25-yard line. Just the 3rd Lions receiver to catch a pass tonight. Everything else had gone to Billingsley or Lee.
I love the fact, too, he's smart in covering up the ball. Especially when he knew contact was coming. You run inside, you know you're going to get hit.
Rudock, a little bit behind Jay Lee. Now, by the way, you were talking about running backs. Theo Riddick, you didn't mean to omit. You just view him more as almost like a slot and receiving type running back.
He's just a beast out of the backfield. 99 catches last year, 0 drops. He's such a weapon. And you would hate to sacrifice him running a 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 8 because of his ability and the threat that he brings out of the backfield.
And then you got Michael Burton as your fullback, and that's your stable of running backs, you figure. 2nd and 10. With 51 ticks left in the opening half. Good pocket, Rudock. Deep ball. And he had a man, but he overthrew Davis.
Yeah, that ball floated on him.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that delivery. I think the ball came out of his hand a little bit because it looked a little bit funny. But first of all, the protection is pretty solid, allowing him to step up into the pocket. It just comes out a little bit funny. Usually Jake's pretty tight with those spirals. That one just looked a little off.
Suddenly it's 3rd and 10. Lions 1 for 7 on 3rd down conversions tonight. Rudock throws Zenner out of the backfield. Sniffs the first down. He's got it. And out of bounds inside the 15.
That's just a matchup of running back beating linebacker. Zenner beats Lattimore into the flat. See Lattimore way too much space on 3rd and 10. Nobody in the flat to cover. Zenner showing a little burst to get the first down and get out of bounds.
He's a good receiver too. Fresh set of downs with 41 seconds remaining. It's still 2 timeouts for the Lions. For Billingsley. Tough to build consistency, isn't it? When you're a 3rd string guy getting very few reps during training camp and then getting that cleanup time in preseason games.
Well, it is, but I think if you want to make the team, this is where guys maybe spend a little extra time after practice. I don't know what happened yesterday during the walkthrough. Maybe these guys had their own meeting. Make sure we're on the same page, because I'm sure even though we didn't know who was playing tonight, they knew who was going to play.
4 wide receiver set. Another good pocket. Dumps it underneath. Zenner broke a tackle. And another one. And another one to get down to the 2-yard line. That's a heck of a run after the catch, isn't it?
I think Zach might be saying, hey, I'm the number 2 back
Hold on,
up
Chris
there.
Spielman.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give up on me, baby.
But again, he's all effort. He breaks the tackle from Lattimore. He breaks the tackle from the defensive lineman, LeVar Edwards. Then again, I like the fact that he can go from 0 to 60 in a hurry. Now, it doesn't help the guys who look like they're trying to tackle him by pulling flags off of him. I mean, they put a body on him, but he's a tough guy. Yeah, he's up here making me rethink.
Second injured Bill of the night. Zach Zenner, though, what I like about him, an unassuming guy, understands that, He's got plenty of room to grow. 6 to 8 teams contacted him last year as an undrafted rookie. And remember this, and people do in Detroit, over 6,500 yards in his career, third most in FCS history.
Well, and the added asset to his game is the fact what we've just witnessed the last 2 plays. He catches the ball out of the backfield and does it well.
Also a smart guy, wants to be a surgeon. Jarrell Worthy, the former Spartan, the injured Bill right here.
See the right side of your screen, that's Thomas. Ooh. Now, look, he's going after to make the play. Thomas is trying to get the block. The only way he's going to get him is he's going to try to cut it. And I hate to see that. But that, to me, the guy's trying to make his block. And he's doing whatever he has to do to get the block. That's just a tough situation.
Looks like he's all right. I hope so.
That's good.
Had a bit of a rough go of it. You know, I mean, like I said, second-round pick for Green Bay. Never stuck there. Came to Detroit. Was in camp. Numbers game there. Now in Buffalo on a practice squad last year. Rex Ryan is unhappy.
And Jarrell's over there calling out the huddle.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand his frustration. But look, man, I don't blame Brandon Thomas at all. Your job is to get the guy on the ground. And you have to do what you have to do to get your block. I mean, that's football. I played against guys that would cut me from behind and punch me and hit me everywhere in my body, in the private parts and everywhere. They're doing their job. They're trying to get me from getting to the football. I get that. Now, the next play, I'd come back with try to punch them in their Adam's apple. But I'm doing what I have to do.
Good for you, good for me, right? For the corner. Lee with a grab. Touchdown. Rudock to Lee, and the rookies connect.
Great read by both. If the receiver's even with the defensive back, he's leaving them. That means throw the ball to the back pylon. Perfectly placed ball. A nice route by Jay Lee. Great throw, Jake. And that's how do you know when to throw it deep or throw the back shoulder fade? Right there. That defensive back was even with that wide receiver. That's a tell for quarterback and receiver. The ball's coming over the top, not behind.
Got to be on the same page, and they were. Extra point academic from Matt Prater. Let's take a look at this scoring drive brought to you by Gardner White. 9 plays, 57 yards in under a minute and a half.
First of all, it's a clean get-off. There's no hands, which allows him to climb the up shoulder of the defensive back. Jake sees that he's behind him, so he's going to throw to the back pylon. Perfectly placed ball. Good field awareness with the toe drag at the end.
Jay Lee's having himself a night at the right time. Been targeted 10 times more than anybody else. 6 rocks, 78 yards, and that touchdown pass right there.
Right there, and led the drive. What, a minute 43 to go when he took over the football?
Well, what did you say? You said, hey, an opportunity for the 2-minute drive for coaches, players, everybody.
Well executed. It just seems to me that the young guys for the Lions are playing. I mean, they're playing to prove something. And I just get the feeling, I don't know if it's true or not.
No, I get it.
I just get the feeling that the other team, the team in white over there, they're playing to get out of here.
Second touchdown pass of the preseason for Rudock. Sam Martin with a big leg will give Buffalo the football at the 25-yard line. No, I agree with you. Look, you said it in the very first possession of Buffalo. They're running wishbone, okay? They got 3 timeouts. They're not burning anything. They just want to get out of here as quickly as possible and get ready for their season opener while Detroit is opening with Indianapolis.
And I understand that. I mean, I understand you know, you feel you're ready and you just want to punch the clock, then that's a choice that you make. I I don't agree with it, but, I get it.
Buffalo, by the way, at Baltimore, where Rex Ryan used to be the defensive coordinator.
Look at a good test with healthy Joe Flacco. He looked solid last week.
We saw him last week. It'll be a tough division. Gronkowski bounced into the outside and dragged down at the 32-yard line.
He actually fumbled that football and was able to re-secure it.
Jennifer Hammond will talk with head coach Jim Caldwell at the break. His thoughts on the opening half, and if he gets the same sense that Chris Spielman gets. Your young guys playing hungry, and we'll recap in case you missed any of this first half of play. 17-0. The rookies have been the story. Dwayne Washington with a 58-yard touchdown sprint. Jake Rudock to Jay Lee for a touchdown score. And that defensive front four has done a nice job containing Buffalo.
Yeah, it's about front six because it's been a lot of the guys that are playing. All of them are playing well.
Even veterans like Jones and Bolden have to be impressed with what Jay Lee has done tonight. Jennifer Hammond is downstairs with the head coach, Jim Caldwell. Jen?
All right, thanks very much, guys. And Jim, anybody who doubted the importance of this game certainly might have had their mind changed by seeing the urgency in that first half.
Yeah, I think the guys have done a good job thus far. They've certainly been playing hard. The execution has been pretty good, both sides of the ball. So got a second half to go. They got to play a little bit better.
Tell me your impressions of that last drive, that last scoring drive, and those rookies, the way they took control.
That was a nice drive, and particularly they handled the clock extremely well. They were very, very efficient, ran the ball when they had to, and also made some nice throws. Jake did a nice job on that drive.
There's some guys making some tough decisions for your staff, aren't there?
Yeah, it's a good young group. You know, it really is. So we got one half to go. We'll see how it goes from here on out.
Thanks very much for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Shep?
All right, Jen, thanks very much. The stats bear out the Lions' domination. We'll look at some numbers a little bit later on. Why Detroit has been able to build a 17-0 lead, and we'll visit with perhaps one of the more dominating defensive players in the NFL. All coming up at the half on the Lions Television Network. Glad you're spending some of your Thursday night with us here on the Lions Television Network with the Lions hosting the Bills. Walter Powell back deep to receive. Sam Martin's kickoff to start the second half. Impressive first half for Detroit. Big leg to the end zone yet again. Jennifer Hammond is with Detroit's first Pro Bowl defensive end since Robert Porcher in 2002. Jen?
All right, thanks very much, Matt. Ziggy, I got to imagine that whether you're playing in a game or not, when you're standing on the sideline and your team is pitching a shutout, it is awfully fun to see.
Oh, man, last game, this is like the last interview for a lot of the guys out there. And I'm going to tell you one thing, they come out to play today, and I love the energy they're bringing out here.
Energy, to say the least. 3 sacks for 22 yards lost. Also, they've held the Bills to just 45 yards in the first half. What does it say about these guys and how deep, specifically, the defensive front is?
These guys are hungry, and I think one of the ultimate goals that we had in that room is that at the end of the day, we all know that we are not going to be in the same room, but at the end of the day, everybody's got to get a job, and these guys are hungry, man. They come out of ball today. I just told them, you got to leave it all out there. Don't leave saying that, man, I wish I could have did this or did that. So that's what exactly they're doing.
I think you're a good coach. They've been listening, leaving it out there. Thanks very much, Ziggy.
Appreciate you for having me on.
All right, Matt, send it back upstairs to you.
All right, Jen, thanks. Second team All-Pro a year ago, 30 career sacks. Second Detroit player with 20 sacks or more in his first 3 years. The other, Ndamukong Suh. The third Buffalo player injured on this Thursday night.
So Marquise Lucas, rookie out of West Virginia. The offensive tackle. That's what I hate seeing about these
I
last
do too.
preseason.
Yeah.
Just guys getting these nicks, but it's good to see him get up. And just to say something about Ziggy, I think the effect that he has on the room or the meeting room, like he was talking about, was the effort that these guys are giving and the energy that they play with. And it's all set by him and what he's been able to do.
Look at what now this is that 13 class, right? And he blows everybody away. He's been the best pick in that draft. And Barkevius Mingo was traded to New England. Bjorn Warner was with Jacksonville. He just got waived the other day. Kid from Florida State.
Yeah, Mingo got traded from the Browns, and
fairness, a couple of those guys were inside guys, so I don't think it's fair to compare defensive
Right, Sheldon
ends.
Richardson.
Yeah,
Right.
And Sharif Floyd.
That's a good point.
You can't compare defensive tackles to defensive line sacks or defensive end sacks.
But you can't deny his production.
No. He's awesome.
Yeah, he really is.
He reminds me of a guy, and I think we talked about this earlier, Mike Cofer,
Yes.
with the effort and what Mike was able to do. And Mike helped set the standard for me as a linebacker on how to practice.
Well, I was going to ask you, how much does a defensive end help you as a linebacker?
Well, they help a lot because a lot of times for me,
Offense
we
number
were in
71.
constant communication.
5-yard
Right?
penalty.
If I saw
Second
something
down.
or wanted to move him and put him in a position to make a play, or if I knew something was coming, then I can give him a little hand gesture. Hey, go inside. Don't worry. I'll cover your back outside. If anything bounces out, I'll take your back. But certainly in coverage, the best pass coverage is a great pass rush.
Right.
That's your best pass coverage, and you know that you're getting his best every single play. That's what sets him apart from others.
2nd and 11 for Cardale Jones and the Bills. Pump fake. Down he goes. More pressure from the Lions front four. Brandon Copeland and Gabe Wright.
Well, here's where, again, it's the pressure and they're collapsing in the pocket. Ashad Robinson does a good job of pushing two guys, then coming off. But I think Cardale got a little bit antsy right there. He didn't have to run into that mess. There was nothing direct in his face where he could have stood in that pocket and let his receivers do a little more work down the field. Now Zettel, he's a little bit inside. Let's watch him. I'll circle him when he comes up. Let's see what he does from an inside pass rusher position. So, see, this is a good opportunity for Zettel, man, because now they're seeing, okay,
5-yard
Zettel,
penalty.
we see that you can come off the edge. Now, let's see what you have if we go an odd or an even front, which is a 4-man defensive front, and see what you can do inside.
Zettel, 20 career sacks at Penn State, 7th most in history.
He's a good player. They have a lot of good young talent up front. I'm really excited. There he is inside.
Pressure comes. A flip. And good coverage by Detroit's linebackers. Williams part of it. Gooden part of it. Xavier Gooden.
Yeah, 3rd and 15, and you're forcing Jones to step up in the pocket early. Now what he's doing is he's taking his eyes away from downfield with a lot of young quarterbacks. If you look at his eyes drop, his eyes feel the pressure. He wants to get rid of that football. But a lot of that is pressure up the middle from the edge, forcing him to step up and take his eyes away from the downfield receivers.
Billingsley stands inside his own 30. Good punt. And Billingsley mauled shy of the 30-yard line. Jake Rudock and the Lions offense tried to do what they did at the end of the opening half. Score another touchdown when we come back. Been a good first half for the Lions. Now their first possession of the second half. Jay Lee's been the story in the opening half, and now George Wynn gets some carries, some work here with this offense. And Jay Lee, 10 targets, 6 catches. He's made an impact, Chris Spielman.
Yeah, he has. He's taken advantage of his opportunity now. I love the run after catch. Here was a nice job of coming back and working back to the football. Good move to get open inside. This was really nice. Recognizing the defensive back was inside, sets him up inside. Does not look for the back shoulder fade because he knew he had the defensive back beat, knowing Jake Rudock would throw the ball over the top on target, dragging the feet for 6.
Win again. This time, barely got back to the line of scrimmage. So Lee among those that we talked about in our open of wide receivers battling for one of the final 2 spots. And here's his night along with Billingsley, Kinshad Davis. Haven't seen anything from Andre Roberts tonight or T.J. Jones.
Well, that tells me that, you know, they're on the roster. So that would make 5. So depending on how many receivers you keep 6, you keep 7. But again, a lot of these guys, especially if you're rookies now, can qualify for practice squad if they clear waivers.
Rudock steps up into the pocket, throws, and it's incomplete. Intended for Andrew Corliss.
Corliss has done a nice job of blocking, and that's something they're going to need as the season progresses to set that strong edge blocker. And Corliss was brought in here by Bob Quinn to be that guy.
Well, he's a big reason why Dwayne Washington scored in the opening quarter on that 58-yard touchdown sprint.
He is the reason. He was able to collapse that corner, and I gave credit to Orson Charles. As you said, Matt is a good blocker in his own right, but I did correct that. But Corliss was the guy that set that play up. It was beautiful.
Powell from the 22. George Wynn with a tackle. And runs the football, and he gets down there and makes the tackle, too. Valuable special teamer, huh?
Well, I just see him, guys. Just that run. He broke about 3 tackles to get 6 more inches. That's the effort that you want to see. And you're watching in person a guy desperate to get on a roster by showing that kind of effort on that run, then coming down there and sprinting down there to make a tackle on punt coverage. Love it, man. I freaking love it. I do. I just love guys playing with that great effort.
Downfield, kicking team, number 44. 5-yard penalty added at the end of the play. Timeout.
So the Bills take over. 1st and 10. Jay Lee.
Get back in bounds.
Get back in bounds, young man. Although he's done a heck of a job on the offensive side of things. Lions season tickets still available starting at just $375. You can call now to learn how you can earn $50 in stadium credit when you purchase season tickets during tonight's broadcast. Call 313-262-2222. Reps are standing by. Cardale Jones on a 3-step drop and incomplete. Intended for Blake Annan. So Detroit, 10 days from now, will open on the road against the Indianapolis Colts. The next week, it's the home opener against the Titans, and then the division schedule begins. At Lambeau, where Detroit won a year ago. At Chicago, where Detroit won a year ago.
Packers will be good. I think the addition of getting Jordy Nelson back helps that whole offense, and especially helps Aaron Rodgers.
Like he needs any help. Right?
Yeah.
Jones on a curl route, balancing up, and getting close to the sticks and then moving the sticks. Good offensive play by Buffalo, perhaps their best of the night. You mentioned the Packers. Here's what they have. Key additions. Well, Nelson, not necessarily an addition, but remember, he was hurt last year. They also have the easiest schedule after finishing 10-6 a year ago. They lose B.J. Raji inside and Casey Hayward.
Yeah, I think with Green Bay, they're going to be a tough out. They really are. And the main reason is I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in football. And I agree. I think you can make an argument that he's one of the top 5 of all time. I really think he's that good. I would make that argument. I think he is a super.
I'd have to see your other 4 before I could join that argument. Good catch, good comeback catch by Desmond Lewis on the throw from Jones. So Green Bay finished second. They finished second to Minnesota. Mike Zimmer's a really good coach. They've got a pretty tough schedule. They've got some key guys like Alex Boone and Andre Smith. Boone from San Francisco, Smith from Cincinnati. But losing Teddy Bridgewater earlier this year on a contact drill in training camp really hurts.
Yeah, dislocated his knee towards ACL and some other damage. Look, Sean Hill, if he's the quarterback, he's got to be better than 14-9. 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions for Bridgewater last year. Sean Hill, I think in Detroit when he started 10 games, threw 16 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Because, look, you have the same team right now.
Yeah, but when he started in St. Louis for the Rams, he threw 8 and 7 respectively.
Right. I guess you're exactly right. My point being, he's with a team that's made the playoffs, that made upgrades on their offensive line. Now, if he can be better than 14-9, the only thing you're losing with Sean Hill is what Teddy was able to do is pick up extra yards, third and short, 4, man-to-man coverage, tuck and run for the first down.
Here's the other thing. Minnesota won that division primarily because of its defense and its rushing attack.
Offense number 72.
Well, and I do think they've upgraded at wide receiver. I think Laquan Treadwell is going to be a nice pickup for them. Cordero Patterson, if he can get going, he's an explosive guy. And their defense has been solid, and Mike Zimmer does a good job of being a head coach / defensive coordinator. And they play.
Nobody threw fewer passes in the NFL last year than Minnesota. So they don't rely on the pass, but I wonder if it does change maybe a mindset of the opposition where it says, you know what?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, that's a mindset.
2nd and 15. Zettel with pressure off the edge. Jones on a seam route just off the fingertips for Nick O'Leary, Jack Nicklaus's grandson. The other team in the division, the Chicago Bears. John Fox historically has done a good job of taking a bad team and making them competitive in year 2. It will be tough after losing Matt Forte and Matt Slauson, but Kevin White was their first-round pick a year ago and was injured in training camp. He's now healthy, and Danny Trevathan, I think, was a really big pickup at a linebacker.
Yeah, he's an outstanding linebacker, and to me, it's on Cutler. I mean, if good Jay Cutler shows up, he's a talented guy. He really is. If bad Jay Cutler shows up, the Bears are looking at another 6-10.
A lot of people think this Buffalo team is the second best in the AFC East to New England, of course.
Well, who knows? I mean, yeah, everybody, people from Buffalo think that. I'm not sure. I think Tyrod Taylor signed that big extension, but it's team protective. So we'll see if Tyrod player, like anything, if quarterback plays, team will be good.
They haven't been good tonight. We know that.
They don't care tonight.
A little less than 8.5 left to go in the third. Buffalo trying to drive, but they've got a long way to go to move the chains. Cardale Jones on 3rd and 15. Fumbled! And the Lions, do they have it? I'll tell you what, Kerry Hyder has done a wonderful job tonight pushing that pocket into the face of whichever quarterback has been in there. E.J. Manuel and now Cardale Jones.
That's a trifecta for Kerry. That's 3.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 33. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Alex Carter. Good pressure inside. Zettel again coming up the middle. Kerry Hyder tipping the ball, grabbing the leg. I mean, he's fighting for a job, and quite frankly, I mean, he's been outstanding tonight.
Sure has. It's tough to decipher if you're basing it on just this game.
Well, you know, if Bob Quinn and staff feel like there's another direction they want to go, he's got this film to throw around to 31 other teams.
Sure does. To readjust the football, marking it to 45.
So when a defensive lineman got tired, he used to throw up on the ball, just water. The referee would have to stop the game. Defense, thanks, Chris.
It's a good trick.
Got about 15-second break right there. Needed that. Good. Just get the quarterback now. I took one for the team for you. Take one for me now. Get the quarterback.
Jones on a deep drop. Pressure comes. He unloads. And incomplete. Intended for Kane Coulter. More pressure from Anthony Zettel. He has done a nice job of fighting whoever is in there against him. The West Branch native who told me earlier in camp, my favorite golf course is the Nightmare and Dream in West Branch. Actually a pretty good golfer. Said he shot a 77 just before camp started. Yeah. I looked at him. I said, "Come on, really? You know recreational golfers. You know that they like to fib just a little bit." He was dead serious.
Oh yeah,
no way.
I don't think he jokes around.
I don't think he does either. Loves to fish as well in Saginaw Bay. Incomplete pass intended for Lewis.
Showed a little versatility right there. Austin dialed up a little zone blitz where he had Zettel from his defensive end position drop back into a zone pass coverage. He's that kind of athlete, though. So far, we've seen him drop, we've seen him rush from the outside, and we've seen him get pressure on an inside pass rush.
It's interesting. Jennifer Hammond was talking with Anquan Bolden about MMA training. Anthony Zettel did the same thing. Kickboxes to stay in shape. And kind of opens your hips, Chris. Allows you to transfer your energy from the ground up.
He needs a transfer to the quarterback on this man-to-man coverage.
3rd and 10. Jones scrambling from Hyder. And close to the first down. What great pursuit, huh?
Well, the whole team is just playing with tremendous effort. And Ziggy, during his interview with Jennifer, talked about it. You can feel the energy right there. Zettel got popped and knocked down, creating a short corner. It was good effort and hustle play by Gooden to get Jones out of bounds before he get the first down. And Anthony got to be mad at himself because he was the one that created that short corner. Let's see if he comes back. Inside pass rusher right here.
4th and 5. O'Leary's got it. Flag on the play, broke a tackle. And Copeland drags him down right near the 10-yard line.
Now I know they're just trying things out to see what guys can do.
Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
And the penalty on the former Seminole.
Yeah, he's going to get it on Kerry Hyder, who's going to be matched up with O'Leary. See Kerry Hyder drop right there? And I don't see the offensive interference.
So ask you, where
so that's a bad call. So if I were being critical, which I haven't been at all tonight.
Okay.
But if I got a guy named Kerry Hyder that has, like, I don't know, 3 sacks and 25 pressures, I wouldn't be dropping him on 4th and 5. I'd probably be rushing him on a pass. Yeah. That's just me though. But I know I know that
I'm going to take a stab in the dark. I think his strength is getting to the quarterback, not covering a receiver. Billingsley inside his own 10. Fair catch at the 21. 6:38 remaining here in the third. How much more offense do the Lions have in them? Jake Rudock leads the way when we return. All-time leader at the tight end position for career receptions. Finalist for the John Mackey Award. Consensus All-American, but most famous because of the most famous golfer ever. He is the grandson of Jack Nicklaus, who is here at Ford Field to watch his grandson.
Another Buckeye.
Yes, sir.
Nick O'Leary has great hands.
He really does. He really does.
And excellent route runner. I mean, he's a valuable commodity to have on your football team.
5-yard penalty.
I think he kind of got the raw end of the deal on that last penalty call. That wasn't pass interference on his part, and he doesn't need to have pass interference to separate from a defensive end in man-to-man coverage.
You ever had a chance to talk with Jack Nicklaus, being the Buckeye connection?
Yeah, he's a great guy. For all he's achieved, he's very humble about everything that he's achieved in his life.
Rudock connects with a tight end. Out of the backfield a little bit is Andrew Corliss, his first catch of the preseason. Chris highlighted his block and good route there and square in the shoulders to get upfield.
Yeah, again, I think he's a valuable asset, and tight ends are going to be a big part of this football team. Good news, though, as we know that Eric Ebron is going to play a factor in this offense and the success of this offense. And we were able to watch him run routes and run them effectively in pregame.
George Wynn found a seam and then drilled at the 25-yard line. There's a flag on the play.
Jonathan Meeks, thank you, sir, for making a great fundamental tackle, not coming up, taking the knees out, but wrapping up and bringing your feet and running through contact. Thank you very much.
Holding, offense number 49. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Holding on the tight end, Andrew Corliss. You had talked about Eric Ebron, and it was really good news to see him. You and I watched him run a lot of routes, and he did it without pain. And that's big because he's a guy who wants to be on the football field, and I think Detroit needs him to be on the football field. He told us not too long ago, he said, look, when I got injured, originally I thought, my life stinks. And he kind of forgot about some things, and he was afraid for the worst when he got injured in that open scrimmage here at Ford Field on a Saturday. But there were some erroneous reports about people's initial fears that he might be done for the year. He is not, and many people feel like he will be ready to go 10 days from today. when they take on the Colts in Indianapolis.
Well, judging by him running routes just in pregame, he looks ready to go because the biggest concern, I think, with ankles is you're able to stop and start. And to me, there was no limp or no giddy-up in his giddy-up. So to me, he's good to go. Hopefully he'll be ready for the opener because he will help open up so many things for the wide receivers because he'll occupy safeties and linebackers.
Billingsley on a slant. Little shake to get to the outside. Got a nice block downfield and deep into Buffalo territory. I don't know if this kid's going to make this team, but you got to love the way he brings it every single day.
When he doesn't drop the ball. The run after catch, I mean, we highlighted it in Pittsburgh when he scored his touchdown, but right here, just setting it up, patient. And Meeks was late on the coverage after his big hit. He was the one that had him man-to-man. He got picked off, allowing the wide-open Billingsley, and Rudolph seems to have a little connection with him. But again, run after catch.
Good job by Jay Lee to continue blocking downfield. That helps your cause.
Absolutely. Everything does.
Win. Cuts it back up. Dragged down shy of the 25. It takes guts to play this game. Nobody knows that better than you, but especially when you're diminutive.
Yeah. Well, to me, he is your perfect slot receiver. You know, just because of the size comparison, everybody say, okay, well, is that the next Wes Welker? I mean, because that's what those guys look like.
Or Danny Amendola.
Yeah, that's what those guys look like.
Lee dropped it.
Better get on it.
Well, you know what? He made a man miss, too. He had some opportunity there. We need to remind ourselves, I mean, Bob Quinn has taken, the general manager of the Lions, he's taken guys who are of this stature.
Well, you know, Bob said he's his own man. Don't get me wrong, right? I mean, he is. But he's also been part of an organization that's won world championships. And he knows how to build a team. So he might want to build a little bit of, like, when he sees Billingsley automatically in his head because of his connection with the Patriots, well, that could be Wes Welker. I don't know.
Rudak pump fakes. Now he'll take off and run. He's got a clear field and slides inside the 10.
This is nice by Jay. And his biggest strength at Michigan was his composure. Composure on the field, composure off the field. But what I love is his composure in the pocket. Doesn't panic, has a guy hanging on him, is able to feel that presence, that physical presence, and just slide his feet forward to buy him time to give himself to make the decision whether to pass or run. Fortunately, he chose run. First and goal.
Win. He's a big power back.
Good special teams player. He watched on that punt coverage. That's a guy you don't want to see down because I think he's an excellent football player.
Yeah, he's part of their two deep, without question. Buffalo hasn't dug real deep into their two deep tonight, but Jamari Lattimore is one of those guys.
That's if you're Rex Ryan right there, you'll get frustrated because you know that he's a valuable backup. And you'd hate to see a guy with 2 minutes to go get hurt. Hopefully he'll be okay. Frustrated, Rex Ryan.
A little bit more comfortable tonight, I would guess. He's playing that. At times, he started at the left tackle position. He's been switched to left guard. Remember, he was a left tackle at Washington State, which threw 735 passes last year. And Dahl earned the #1 pass protection grade in the country. But now at the left guard after starting left tackle. Rudock throws. Billingsley's got it to the edge, and a flag in the play as he sneaks inside the 10-yard line. Meeks drags him down. We had mentioned a number of different diminutive receivers through the Patriots organization.
Illegal use of hands in the face. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty, second down.
We had neglected to bring up Julian Edelman, who was really important, has been important to their postseason runs.
Any of those guys that are short and have a lot of shake, they're very difficult matchups. So if you put a linebacker can't cover him.
No way.
Right? The strong safeties can't cover him, and that's when we started to see the evolution of the nickelback.
Right, and that's why Quandre Diggs is such a valuable guy, because if you have Billingsley out on the field, or a player like Billingsley, you want to play man, you go nickel, you match your nickel back, Diggs up with Billingsley.
Rudock, quick handoff to Wynn, found some space, spins all the way to the 10-yard line. Just to put a bow on that, you don't want 5 receivers like that, but if you had one among your group, it wouldn't be a bad thing. There's Wynn.
And George, again, good job by Brandon Thomas. Pulling around 63. Thank you, sir. Hands inside, getting a push. Came over from the trade for Jeremy Curley from the 49ers.
Called it bittersweet, but feeling like he'll get more of an opportunity here than he did in San Francisco.
And it's very difficult to learn to come in and learn a whole new offense and line up and play.
Rudock. Scrambling, throwing, touchdown! What a grab and what a throw!
The composure. Again, stepping up, deciding not to run because he has a linebacker bearing down on him, and a confidence in his receiver, seeing that the defender's back is turned, that he's going to come up and make a one-handed catch. But it all starts with Rudock understanding where he is on the field, not crossing the line of scrimmage, and delivering a catchable ball to his new favorite target, Chase Billingsley. Making a name, Chase. Both guys. Oh, there's tough decisions to be made tonight and tomorrow night.
It's fun. It's a good problem to have. Good job by Martin to handle that snap. Really impressive drive engineered by Jake Rudock. Scoring drive brought to you by Wayne County Community College. 10 plays, almost 80 yards in a little bit more than 5 minutes.
Well, this right here is again, the presence, intelligence of a quarterback. Understanding not to tuck it, running to the side to buy time. Billingsley not quitting on the route and making a nice one-handed catch. And let me tell you another valuable asset about Billingsley while we've been on this guy. All right, he's in competition, say, with Davis or Jay Lee. What's he bring that they don't bring? He's a return guy.
Right,
return guy. Right. And you know, that could be the tiebreaker in the room.
Getting some love from Corey Fuller, who's on reserve pup, which means he's out for the first 6 weeks. And Eric Ebron right there. Rudock, 13 of 21 tonight, Chris. 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a QBR of 118.5.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds pretty darn good.
Sounds really impressive, doesn't
it? Yes, it does. 118.5.
24-0. More points in this game than they've scored in the last 2 preseason games combined for the Lions. Let's go down to Jennifer Hammond.
And you know, it was great, guys, because Billingsley caught that pass, and basically Rudock was flat on his back. He had been shoved out of bounds after he let go of the ball. He didn't know it was a touchdown, but the minute he heard the crowd roar, he leapt up faster than I've ever seen anybody get off the ground, and he ran to celebrate with his teammates. So these guys are fired up tonight.
It's kind of a cool story, don't you think, Jen? I mean, they've worked really hard, and they've worked well together, even in camp. When we go out there and watch practices, they've done a nice job of having that type of chemistry, don't you think?
Absolutely, they have. And you know what, like you guys said, Billingsley, who knows if he catches on here, but he has definitely caught the eye of some other teams out there, I guarantee you that.
He's caught 7 of his 8 targets tonight for 80 yards and a score. Good job. Boone Herron on the carry.
What a thrill, though, for Billingsley sitting to the right there. And Kwambo.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine? I
watched him play growing up.
Coming here from Eastern Oregon. Equan Old sitting by me, giving me 5 for catching a touchdown pass in the NFL.
He's talking to me.
It's insanity. Only in this great country.
That's what sports brings, doesn't it? What opportunity. Jones, nice throw. O'Leary, and he's a moose. Tough to bring him down as he crawls close to the 45 of Detroit.
He's a good football player.
He really is.
No gloves, no wrist wraps. He's been like that ever since he's been at Florida State. And Isaiah Johnson doing a good job waiting for the troops to arrive.
Somebody come help, please.
Wrap him up, try to strip him. Second man in.
22 yards on the catch. Could be the final play of the third. Jones, a rifle shot on an out pattern, hauled in for another first down, and that will do it through 3 quarters. Lions second, third, more like third and sometimes fourth units have been really, really good tonight. We've seen Washington, we've seen Lee, we've seen Billingsley, we've seen Rudock, we've seen Hyder. Guys are making plays all over the field on the Lions television network. 24-zip as we get set to start the fourth quarter. Here's Jennifer Hammond. Jen?
All right, thanks very much, Shep. And Amir, I got to ask you, how much fun is it for you to see the way that these guys are fighting tooth and nail out there to get a spot on this roster?
It's a lot of fun because that's what this league is about. You know, it's very limited spots, and this game is very pivotal to make this team. So to see these guys who put in so much hard work the entirety of camp come out here and lay it all out tonight, it's really fun to watch.
How much of a taste do you get for what this offense and particularly the run game can be like when you see young guys like Dwayne Washington right out of the chute making big plays?
Oh, man, Dwayne, sky's the limit for him, man. And I feel like he can bring a lot to this running game. He's a bigger guy with speed, so that's exactly what we need on this team to help this running game improve every day. And I'm excited to, hopefully add him to the team and get going next week.
And I know one of the things we talked about in the locker room the other day, we even talked about it earlier in the broadcast, is your ability really to be a multi-purpose back. You're not afraid to run between the tackles. You want work in the red zone. You even told me the other day that you play with a chip on your shoulder.
No doubt. That's always been the guy I've been. Just playing with a chip on my shoulder, playing angry in a sense, and I feel like in this league you kind of have to. You got to bring that every Sunday to get the most out of your teammates and get the most out of yourself. So I see Dwayne has that a little bit in himself as well, so I'm excited to continue to mess with him and the rest of the backs on his team and continue to improve his run game.
And I know that I scared Emil, Chris Spielman, when I told him a story about what you told me about how you used to get angry and fired up before you took the field when you played.
Well, I'll tell you, Amir, to me, I watched him cover the game. He does play with a chip on his shoulder, and he needs to have a guy that you need to use. And he needs 20 carries. Nice hit, though, Mike.
Yeah, O'Leary is just doing a heck of a job of catching the football, securing the football, and taking guys head on. And he was brought down there by Charles Washington.
It was right here, a good throw again by Cardale, who's been on target tonight on a lot of passes. But yeah, it was Charles Washington. Good shot by Charles. Isaiah missed him. But getting back to Amir a little bit, Matt, he's a guy that he gets better the more carries he gets. He doesn't get tired. And he really has to take it to the next level. I think he has the ability to do that.
Yeah, big year for him as Jones goes for the corner and incomplete. First trip in the red zone for the Bills, and they'll have to wait for another play.
Jared Boykin fell down. Good coverage right here on the outside. Staying in good position. Jared Boykin tried to push off. Did not get away with it.
Got by Darius Barnes.
Yeah.
Ball popped in the air and incomplete. You had mentioned Amir Abdullah, not just a productive player on the field, but also a really good guy in the locker room as well. One NFL scout, when he came out of Nebraska, one NFL scout gave him the highest character grade he had ever given a player.
He's a great guy, and I had a chance to sit down with him working for ESPN at Nebraska, doing many of his games. And look, whatever you can't put him in a box. He's not just an outside guy. He is a running back. And to be a great running back, you got to run inside, outside, over, under, and around. And he can do all that.
Good pocket. Jones feels the pressure. Flag of the play. He's going to run with it. He's going to dive close to the first down yardstick.
So
holding right now.
Here's the difference between Rudock and Jones, if I can make this quick comparison, and it can go back to the type of offenses that they ran in college. When Jones gets in trouble in the pocket, his eyes drop, and he's not as fluid as a mover as Jake Rudock. When we saw Jake Rudock move in the pocket, and Jake will keep his feet under him in position to throw the football. When Cardale moves in the pocket, that ball is tucked in the running position, and his eyes drop right away, and he crouches over because he's used to taking off and running. The difference is the smoothness, and when Jake stays in the pocket, he stays in the throwing position.
But do they not both run pro set offenses? Michigan and Ohio State?
Well, Ohio State's a spread and
more spread.
Yeah, they're 90%, 99% of their snaps are taken out of the shotgun. But there's just more of a pocket presence from Jake.
Jones. And another one knocked down and picked off. Intercepted Brandon Copeland. Chased down at the 40-yard line.
Terrell Austin, after this game, each and every defender that played in this game, I go around and look in the eyes and shake them the hand, because that's how you're a professional. That's how you play with great effort.
A'Shawn Robinson.
Good job, A'Shawn and Copeland coming back. But all, 8, 9 guys, 10 guys that played up front, you go around and shake those guys' hand. That's being a professional football player. How you approach tonight is how you play the game. It's beautiful. Great effort, man.
It's kind of hokey, but it matters, I think, to a lot of people how much this team has showed it cares. Even though it's the 4th preseason game and most of the roster is set, it's kind of nice to see that it matters to them.
Let me tell you this, okay? Professional football players, they all care, because you do not get to this level without pride. And to me, when I go into a locker room or I watch games on TV, everybody's playing cares. One, because they're prideful individuals that are pros. And you act like a pro and you play like a pro. And 2, you're playing for a lot of money. Let's make no mistake about it. That has something to do with it, about caring. But to me, these guys are all fighting for jobs, and they're playing like it. And you could not ask for a better effort from guys fighting for a job or watching the 4th preseason game.
Well said. Win dragged down from behind and a loss of a couple on the play.
Copeland's had a nice game tonight.
Sure has. A'Shawn Robinson's played well.
Yeah, he's gotten better the past 2. Game was a little fast for him the first 2 preseason games. Last 2 preseason games, it slowed down.
Got a chance to move the pocket pretty well, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
There's a rotation guy inside.
Absolutely.
Nada, Walker, Robinson. Question mark. Who's next?
Karan Reed, my guy, but unfortunately for Karan, I'm not making that decision.
George Wynn tripped up at about the 40-yard line.
Hyder's made a name tonight, huh?
Yeah, he has.
Man.
Well, you'll see the Colts a little bit this year in your duties for Big Fox. What do you think Detroit's chances are on the road against Andrew Luck and company?
I think they're good because the Colts offensive line is struggling. And if we get this type of pass rush, it's really good.
Rudock breaks free. He'll run it. Got a nice block or 2 and slide shy of the 20. Wynn and Billingsley downfield, keeping the play alive.
Well, I know one thing. We're not going to have to give the player of the game to a kicker tonight.
You're right about that.
And this guy right now is the clubhouse leader for me.
You think so?
Well, it's because of his arm. He led a 2-minute drill. He's scrambling around, throwing off-balance passes to Billingsley. He's probably rushed for 35 to 40 yards. We'll have that for you in a minute. 33 yards on 2 carries. That's a pretty stout average.
A lot of guys vying for that honor right now. Wynn breaks into the 15 to the 14-yard line. Good hole opened up on the left side of that offensive line.
Fatigue setting in for the white helmets.
Yep.
And the silver helmet guys, they got bounce in their step, and they're moving. But a good block here. Good job, Joe Dahl. See that? Just hooking 2 guys and having the hips to swing around, seal them off, creating that hole.
Cornelius Lucas downfield, staying with the block.
Yes, sir. Lyman Love. Need it.
Davis is in the slot. Now he's in motion. Wynn up the gut.
George Wynn is 15.
Duke Williams came up, made the play. Duke Williams in his 4th year out of Duke, ironically enough. Originally a 4th-round pick in 2013. Lions need 1.
Orson Charles lining up at the fullback position.
Detroit 6 for 13 on 3rd down. Make it 7 for 14. Well blocked. This game summary brought to you by Arby's.
We got the meats.
We got the meats. Jay Lee and Jace Billingsley, almost identical numbers. And Jake Rudock has done it with his arm and with his legs.
In decision making. And to me, that's great for Jake, because I think he is taking what he learned at Iowa and under Jim Harbaugh and what he became known as a composed guy,
right?
Excellent decision maker, and he's translated that into the NFL now for preseason.
Jim Caldwell told us that. Last week he said, look, nothing rattles him. Got a great temperament, really good competitor. Wynn inside the 10, keeps the feet churning, and inside the 5.
It's the beauty of watching the 4th preseason game, and I'm not being sarcastic, when I watch a guy like George Wynn fighting and crawling and scratching for every inch that he can get. Yeah. Nice cut, too. Good vision. Just going, man. Love it. Get in there, Jay Lee, and get a block.
Yeah, he's in the mixing bowl there to try to keep the running play alive a little bit. Now he splits wide to the right. Fade route to him. Incomplete. So here's what people will wonder tomorrow. Jake Rudock, Dan Orlovsky. They see the numbers Rudock has put up today. How much do you weigh the competition he's playing?
0. Orlovsky's my backup. Rudock's my 3rd guy. It's that simple.
You don't want to think about that, huh?
No. No, I don't. He's the backup. Jake's doing what he needs to do to show that he's securing the 3rd position at quarterback. His learning curve is still huge.
Yeah, he's improved, though. There's a bullet. Oh, what a grab! Billingsley with his... Nope, it's Feeney. Andrew Feeney hauled it in.
There you go. This is a nice route by Feeney, working on a free safety and strong safety, just frankly running away from the strong safety, and not an easy catch to make, but he does a great job of using his hands and not his body to secure that.
Yeah, really tough. Adam Feeney, excuse me. I said Andrew, the rookie out of Southern Illinois.
It's a rookie.
You know somebody who played there, don't you?
Well, guy's got a decision to make.
Yes, he does. That would be one Rick Spielman, who played at Southern Illinois. But Adam Feeney making him proud on this Thursday night. Really nice and tough catch to make it 31 Goose. Wisconsin. It's brought to you by the Office of Highway Safety Planning. Adam Feeney on the receiving end of that Jake Rudock 5-yard touchdown strike. A little bit more than 5 minutes in 9 plays. And Detroit has scored more points in this game than any of the games previous. That's the most games we've seen in a preseason game for Detroit all year. Pittsburgh only scored 17. Cincinnati scored 30 here in the preseason home opener, and Baltimore scored 30 on them last week. So 31 donut. Another good kick by Martin. Oh, what a weapon he is, and probably sometimes an underappreciated one. We got 7:40 to go in the preseason finale. Game to the offensive plays of the game brought to you by Pearl Vision. Rudock to Lee on a pretty touch in the corner. A perfect strike to Jace Billingsley on the run. And later to Adam Feeney for 5 yards out. Boom Heron spun around after a gain of 1 by Miles Killebrew. So we talked about the wide receiver job that is up for grabs in the battle, and here's the way it's at least shaken out on this Thursday night.
Well, you know, if it comes down to a coin flip, again, I think Bob will try to do anything in the world to keep both guys, especially Billingsley and Lee, by both guys, somehow involved with the team, whether it's on the active roster or a practice squad. Or if it comes to a coin flip, you probably might want to go with Billingsley because of his return ability.
And strong arms it, incomplete, intended for Lewis. Considering the way Buffalo started the game, Chris, I'm a little surprised they're throwing it now.
Oh. Well, you got to get your young quarterback work and reps. Now, the thing is, you also want to challenge your offensive line if you're Buffalo. Sure. To be able to see, can you guys block these guys a little bit?
Rex Ryan in his second year in Buffalo. Last year, 8-8. Spent 6 years with the Jets. 3rd and long. Across the middle, O'Leary. Why not? Look at him reach out for that extra effort. This kid's a good football player.
Nice job of Cardale Jones sitting in that pocket, knowing he's going to get hit, allowing O'Leary to work the middle of the field. Watch the shot that he takes from Hyder. Boom. And I heard that pop.
Kerry Hyder's been a star tonight defensively, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. He's just been tremendous. I mean, he has 3 sacks, a number of pressures.
Tough to stop.
His effort has been outstanding.
Chris mentioned the special team opportunity for Jace Billingsley. He's been fielding punts all night long. He's done it flawlessly. A fair catch at the 15. Not an easy thing to do. We got 6 minutes left. Detroit try to milk it away and preserve the shutout.
Hey guys, well, you know, there are a lot of new things at Ford Field this year. Among them, up in the stadium collection, there is a customize your own jersey. You can get in there, you can put your name on it, you can put your favorite player's name on a jersey. All of this right upstairs on the warehouse side of Ford Field. And we got a little jersey made tonight in honor of Chris Spielman's year back in the booth. You know, it's nice. They spelled his name wrong though, so I had to take my Sharpie to it. Take a look at this, Chris. I don't think anybody around here knows how to spell Spielman properly. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, how soon they forget.
Hey, listen, I love it. I got mine too, Jen. The difference between mine and yours, right here. I'm hoping to get mine signed. I got a little Sharpie for you. You ready to go? Can you do that for me?
Well,
just sign it right there in a 5 or a 4. That'd be great.
I can't turn down a Michigan Sportscaster of the Year, can I?
Here we go again.
This is great. Look at that.
Isn't that cool?
Hey, save a pen for me, okay?
All right, we'll do that. We'll auction this off and give it to the proper charity, Chris Spielman's charities.
There you go.
Good stuff.
I want to know where I can get one of these.
I would think you would have some in your house. How many jerseys do you have?
I don't know. Kids sleep in them. I don't know.
Oh, seriously.
I don't know. I have no idea.
36 for the Buckeyes has got to be hung some?
I have one.
Okay.
One game uniform for each team that I played for.
Okay.
And the others, I don't have a lot of things in the house, so here's
You're not a memorabilia kind of guy?
Well, my late wife did. Stephanie was awesome. So I get quarterfinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Top 75 finalists for Pro Football Hall of Fame. I got on the internet, printed it off, hung it on a refrigerator. She said, "Hey, Chris, can you take that Hall of Fame crap off the refrigerator? It's covering up the kids' artwork." So no, I don't have a lot of stuff, Matt.
Well, you always tease me about the Michigan Sportscaster.
Matt, what do you mean? There's no teasing.
Well, hold on a second.
All right.
People need to remind themselves that when you played here in Detroit, I mean, you were a sportscaster too a little bit.
Yeah, look at that. First of all, I didn't know how to tie a tie back then, which is evident.
Heads up, Johnny, heads up.
You had great camera
I didn't have a jacket or a shirt that fit.
You did know how to smile, just not in that picture.
That's great.
A little more hair.
Wow,
Look at that. Now, there's the baseball cap. It looked like you dressed up for the opportunity there.
Well, I got about as many on cameras there as I do here. So it really didn't matter now, did it?
I guess not. Flag on the play. Did you ever think you'd get into broadcasting while you're playing?
I always had the goal of
During the return,
going
illegal
into
block in
coaching
the back.
when I was done.
Receiving team number 16. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
But because of our situation at home with Stephanie, that broadcasting allows me to be around the game that I love.
Oh, we're all better for it, my friend.
Beautiful.
15 for 23, over 170 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a QBR of over 123. Folks, in his college career, he had 3 games of 3 touchdowns or more in a game.
I'll give him a quarterback rating on intelligence of 123 also. I just think decision-making is certainly an asset as he moves forward in his career, and really a guy that can move up into a backup position soon. I don't think there's a question going into this year who your backup is. Olaski clearly is the clear-cut backup, in my opinion.
Jones on second and long. Came Coulter. Coulter was a quarterback at Northwestern. Some controversy there. Everybody knows he's the guy who tried to orchestrate a players' union at the collegiate level there in Evanston.
Well, as long as you can be fired from it, you can have it.
Didn't work out the way he expected. Jones pump fakes across the middle. Who else? O'Leary. He's been the best player in a Buffalo uniform tonight. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing I love about him, every ball that he catches, always with his hands. Every single time. I never watched him make a catch at Florida State or tonight with anything but his hands.
Pretty deep position on this Buffalo team. They got Charles Clay, Jim Dre, Chris Gregg. He was the intended receiver on that route as well. Karan Reed with good pressure up front. 97 in blue has impressed Chris Spielman tonight. Reed, a former 5th-round pick out of Princeton. Used to work out with Ndamukong Suh when Suh was here. Gave him some good basis on which to work. Princeton was 1-9 when he got there. Ended up winning an Ivy League title before he left. That's pretty impressive. Father is a principal and a bishop. Mother's a minister. And he's just swallowing up the ball carrier yet again as we hit the 2-minute warning. Karan Reed has used this night to his benefit, that's for sure. And the Lions are blowing out the Bills. Performance by Detroit tonight, including their defense. It's our player of the game brought to you by Lee Steinberg's law firm. You should have called Lee, 1-800-LEAD-FREE. It's been pressure on whoever's taken snaps in a Buffalo uniform tonight.
Yeah, they've been outstanding. Just everybody. I mean, just getting after it. And there's Karan Reed with the pressure.
More pressure from Reed, more pressure from Copeland, I mean, guys everywhere just blowing people off the ball in the line of scrimmage.
And I think Kerry Hyder's going to get credit for his fourth sack, but Karan Reed was there first, and you see Kerry Hyder getting him at the ankles, and that's sack number 4 for 61.
Yeah, Kerry Hyder's been really former Jets practice squad member. He's put some really good tape together. Somebody's going to take a look at that if they need some help on their club.
Rex might be taking a look.
He might. Yeah. Good point. Jones lofting, and it is incomplete. Coulter, the intended receiver. Well, regular season is right around the corner. 10 days from now, Detroit is in Indianapolis, and then they come home, and season tickets are still available starting at just $375. Call now to learn how you can earn $50 in stadium credit when you purchase season tickets during tonight's broadcast. Call 313-262-2222 and speak to a representative now.
Their first home game against the Titans. I have the Titans week 1, and just watching them on film, their physical front offense. Now they're going to try to pound that football, and that front 7 for Detroit's defense is going to get tested.
A couple of Michigan-based players along that offensive line, Taylor Lewan and Jack Conklin.
And both playing well, both playing physical. Both of them are nasty.
What do you think of Marcus Mariota?
I think he's getting better, and it's interesting just breaking the film down a little bit. They have a little bit of the Oregon offense in their Tennessee offense to take advantage of Marcus Mariota. You know, he's a rare guy. That's a quarterback that's throwing about a 4.40 yard guy.
Yeah.
So you have to certainly account for him. But Derrick Henry, Darren McFadden.
It'll be interesting. It'll be a really fun football season.
Marco Murray. Excuse me, Marco Murray.
Yeah. It's late. Eagle. Yeah, it's okay.
You got it.
A lot of running backs with the letter D at the front of their name. Jake Rudock, an A on the effort tonight. And the Lions finish things up 2-2 on the preseason. And they finish up in grand style with a 31-0 whitewashing of the Buffalo Bills. And now it's wait and see what kind of call we get for a lot of these guys. The preparation for Indy begins